Hello everybody, how are we on this bright and cheery Monday morning? Okay, so first of all, I now have to apologize to my chanting people because my alarm didn't work, my husband and son didn't wake me, and I'm afraid to say I slept through chanting. I'm so sorry. I'm really sorry. I am actually quite an organized person. I can tell you what happened, and it is relevant to everybody here. Last night at about 10 p.m, I got an email from a man called Chris Brennan, who is one of the leading experts in ancient or Hellenistic astrology in the world at the moment. He's really kind of come up from nowhere, come from behind, and he's just really, worked hard, and he's got an amazing repertoire and depth of knowledge. It's extraordinary. Anyway, I've been chasing him, so to speak, for weeks, trying to pin him down to get an interview with him about the ancient version of the void of course moon, which is 2,000 years old, okay? 2,000 years old. And it all came up around the time of Biden's inauguration, and the moon was void of course, and then we decided, well, actually, according to the original version of the void of course, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, I will talk about that another time. But what happened was I ended up, him saying yes yesterday, which was Sunday, 2 p.m. Denver time, because he lives in Denver, which was then about 9 p.m. London time. And so we talked until I think midnight, can you believe, about the void of course moon. But it was such a fascinating discussion, and I think after being in lockdown for so long and not having had any of these sorts of conversations, and also just because he is such an incredible astrologer, and it was just mentally stimulating talking about it like that, and also I could ask him pretty much anything because he seems to know the answer to pretty much anything I could come up with, which is amazing. And so as a result, I finished talking to him maybe, I don't know, midnight, something like that, and my brain was like, wah, wah, wah. So having had such great success with I had to do my sleep protection thing again, but I ended up going to bed really late. And I thought I set an alarm. I really thought I did. And I just slept through it, all the way through it. People are saying they know Chris Brennan. He's amazing. If you don't know Chris Brennan, if you're an astrologer, I'll do a proper session on him at some point soon, once he posts the video, because he's going to post the video of us chit-chatting for 2 hours about the void of course moon through the ages, and about horror and all sorts of stuff. I will post that later in the week, but he's amazing, and he has a book out which I've ordered called Hellenistic Astrology, which is basically something that I love, which is laying out the history of astrology, and something I've never really got straight in my head as much as I should have done. I got into astrology and I went kind of forwards, whereas he got into astrology and he went backwards. So it's really fascinating, really, really fascinating. So so that was that. The sleep protection thing I will also tell you about later this week, Elizabeth. That's from Kyle Gray. It's actually, it's another story for another time, but I will tell you about that, I think, on Wednesday. I've started making a note of what I want to tell you. Today, I wanted to tell you a little story about manifesting, okay? Because, one of the things that I'm all about, as I explained to Chris last night, is I'm really into using the moon as a cosmic timer. And in fact, what I do with astrology is not that different to what a lot of sort of historical type astrologers do, because we work with using the moon as a timer for making magic, effectively, even though we kind of don't phrase it like that. And I wanted to tell you a little manifesting story today. I just thought it's a really good opportunity to tell it. I'm just going to take a quick look at the stars. Yeah, the stars are interesting. We have Mars, Mars actually harmonizing with Pluto, which is quite nice. The moon's in Cancer. I'll look in a minute. I'll just tell you this manifesting story first, but I just wanted to make sure. The moon is not void of course right now, though funnily enough, when I spoke to Chris Brennan last night, it was, and we talked about the void of course moon, so that was fun. Sorry, just let me quickly get the lie of the land here, because normally I do this before I join you, but because I slept in. 22, yeah, we don't, okay, so we're coming up to the Mars-Pluto alignment later this week, and the stars are relatively benign, so that's good. So a little manifesting story. Probably about a year ago, for some reason, I decided that I don't know what I was doing, but I thought, maybe I've been watching something about Oprah or so on. And I thought, one day, God, I would love to, meet Oprah or be on Oprah. Or, I mean, everybody wants to be on Oprah, of course. But I did a drawing of me and Oprah. And so when I do manifesting, I often will do drawings because... to me it just works because I can imagine it. I'm not a good drawer at all. I'm a stick figure drawer, but I know what my drawings mean. So I did a picture, and as I remember, I think it was Oprah and I on a stage. And I kind of imagined that Oprah was sort of next to me, and I think we had like something like that, which I kind of imagined would be my book. Like Oprah saying, and here's Yasmin's amazing book. And I highly recommend you do this if you've got something you want to, get out in the world. Well, imagine if Oprah picks up Moonology and goes, oh my God, everybody, I've discovered this amazing book. It's exactly what you want. And so I did that, and I did a drawing, and I thought, I really like that drawing. And, I just kind of did it, and I didn't forget about it, but I sort of forgot about it. Anyway, about 3 days ago, or maybe 4 now, because we've had the weekend, I was thinking, oh, it's really weird, like that Oprah manifestation. Nothing ever came of it, because normally if I do a manifestation, especially if I'm doing it, at the right time, and the new moon, and the waxing cycle, maybe with the Venus-Jupiter conjunction or alignment, usually I find that... manifestations tend to bear fruit, like even outrageous ones like that. And I wasn't thinking, oh, it's a bit weird that I haven't been on Oprah yet, but I was thinking nothing ever came of it, and which is unusual. I find that if you put your energy into manifesting, something will come. Anyway, so I did the drawing about a year ago. I kind of forgot about it, which is actually a good thing, because you do want to kind of let it go. About 4 days ago, literally in this house where I've been for the last 6 months, or however long we've been in lockdown, last 10 years it feels like, I was thinking, oh, it's so weird. Nothing ever came of that Oprah thing. Nothing. Not a sausage. And then, like 24 hours later, I get a message from Colette Baron Reid, who, if you don't know her work, she's like the oracle queen of the world at the moment, and of these days. And so Colette Baron Reid and I have got to know each other through working together for Hay House, and I consider her my friend, even though we've only met once, but we've met. And she wrote to me going, oh my God, you're not going to believe it. And I'm like, oh my God, what's happening? And she's like, we are in Oprah magazine. I'm like, oh my God, that is so funny, because I was literally just thinking about it like the day before yesterday. And there you go. So what happened was that that Oprah magazine did a post. I'm not sure if it's in the magazine, actually. It's definitely on Oprah.com. I don't know if it's in the magazine as well. Maybe not. Don't really mind. And they did the 19 oracle card decks you have to have, or something like that. And there I am, and there is Colette Reid, and actually there's Rebecca Campbell as well. There were 3 of us that we knew each other on the list, and I was like, oh my God, like, I mean, I was oh my God on various levels. I think in a way, my biggest oh my God was the fact that 2 days earlier, I'd been thinking, oh, it's so weird that Oprah thing never manifested whatsoever. You know, usually I'd expect some kind of little sign that I was on the right track. But yes, also to be on Oprah is just like, to me, is just amazing. Like, you know, Oprah in so many ways is, you know, has been such a big influence in my life and my spiritual journey, and in also my belief that people can get on things like Facebook Live and talk about this kind of stuff, because that's what she did, you know, like she still does. But she did it, you know, for years before anybody else did it. And so, you know, just to be mentioned by her, I don't know if you remember, about a year ago, I was in French Vogue. Actually, I was in American Vogue, French Vogue, English Vogue, I don't know what Vogue, Indian Vogue, all the Vogues all around the world. Again, I think on the website, but I'm not 100% sure. And, you know, all about me and moonology. And, you know, French Vogue, I'm married to a Frenchman, I'm an ex-journalist, you know, for me, like, French Vogue was like, can I ever top being in French Vogue? And I think that this tiny little mention, which my cards get in on Oprah.com, tops French Vogue, frankly. Sorry, French Vogue, but come on, it's Oprah. So anyway, so I thought that was really fun, and I was very delighted. I will pick a card from my cards, which appear on Oprah in a minute. But I also just wanted to, like, you know, like when you're a parent and you say, this is a teachable moment, okay? This is a teachable moment because it shows something. It shows that manifesting, working on manifesting, always can work. You know, it always will work one way or another. And that's why, I mean, the whole thing is we are all manifesting 24/7. So we might as well do it consciously, okay? But also, the other thing I wanted to say about what this shows is how this is very much about, you know, I'm always talking about when you're manifesting, you take baby steps, you know? And had I actually taken my own advice, because I didn't think of it, I just went straight for the big manifestation of there's me on the stage, you know, might as well be Jennifer Aniston, keeping the seat warm for me kind of thing, you know, how Jennifer Aniston's always on Oprah. So this is a really good example of why I'm always telling people go in baby steps when you're manifesting. I actually probably should have thought of that. I should have thought, okay, let's go in baby steps here. The first thing would be to get my cards or me on in a really, because it's, you know, I'm there with 19 people. There's 18 other people and me, and I'm about halfway through, right next to Colette, which is nice. And, you know, just a little thing about my cards, and that's it. You know, so it's not massive, but for me, it's like I say, I actually think that tops French Vogue. Even that tiny little thing, which was like a whole, you know, it was a whole big double-page spread, but it's amazing for me. So what I need to do is I need to then think, okay, you know, maybe it's a sign. Maybe it's a sign that I can keep going. Maybe it's a baby step in the right direction. So forget about me and Oprah. Think about you. Okay, think about you, what you want to manifest, take it back to the baby steps. You know, what do you want? Someone here saying they want to manifest healing. Okay, so, you know, one of the first things is to think, okay, what would it look like if I were healed? You know, and go on the baby steps, you know, and so. And the other thing is to watch for signs. So this is a sign. My cards being on Oprah is a sign that my manifesting is going in the right direction. And then someone wrote to me, I can't remember who it was now, but someone said, oh, I can see you on the show. I'm imagining you on there sitting on a white couch. And I'm thinking, fine, if you want to help me manifest that, yay, I would like that. You know, like, just think about, but the little steps. So, you know, I'm not going to say exactly what my next manifestation will be. Hopefully I'll get around to doing it. But, you know, I remember when my first book came out, was it my first astrology book? No, I think it was my first novel, and called Carole King as an Alien. And what I did, I happened to have a cutout of the Sydney Morning Herald top 10 list. And I'd cut it out because a girlfriend of mine was on number 3 on the list. And she was out of the country at the time, so I cut it out for her and I took a photo and I sent it to her. And then when I put it on my wall for some reason, I don't know, because I was proud of her, I suppose. And then a year or so later, when I had a book coming out, I thought, oh, you know what, I'm going to get that picture and I'm going to put it into Photoshop and I'm going to doctor it. And I'm going to put my name at number 1. And in fact, she saw that. She was an astrologer. This wasn't my friend Lisa Jewell, if any of you are thinking it's Lisa, because I do have my beautiful, one of my favourite people in the world, Lisa Jewell, who's a best-selling novelist. But no, it wasn't her. It was an astrologer friend. And so I put myself at number 1 because I thought, you know, I want to be number 1. And she actually came around and saw it eventually and was very annoyed with me because she thought I was putting myself above her, which I wasn't. It was just because I happened to have it handy. Anyway, got to be careful with these things. Anyway, so I got this picture, and so I whoever was number 1, I kind of whited that out, and I just put Yasmin, Boland, and whatever book I had coming out at the time. I really don't even remember what it was. And I just put it on I put on some cardboard on my windowsill so I would see it all the time. And I seem to remember that book, I don't know if it went into the Sydney Morning Herald or bestsellers or Booktopia, I don't even remember, but it did really well. The book did really, really well, and you know, sold a lot. It was Book of the Week in the Sydney Morning Herald, or the other paper, wasn't the Telegraph, I don't remember, but it was a long time ago now. It's like 20 years ago, but it did really well. You know, it got opted for a film by Working Title, who've done all the Bridget Jones and Notting Hill and all that. You know, and it was just a big thing. And for me, it's like you have to go in with some kind of manifesting. When you're doing manifesting, I like to do something I can believe in, and I'm not going to tell you what it is, but I've got something right over there that I'm using, and it's something that's visual that I've made up, and it's something I'm manifesting. So now what to do? You can't just kind of do a million things. Like, it sounds like I do a million things. These are 3 things I've done probably over the period of 20 years. I probably do 1 a year. You know, you don't want to just keep doing stuff all the time like this. You want to do it when it really matters to you. And then what you do is you watch baby steps, okay? So just say, I mean, now that this whole Oprah thing happened, you know, I think, well, maybe I should go back to that. Maybe I would, you know, I mean, oh my God, for Oprah to discover moonology and to love moonology and to, you know, because that's, I mean, so much of what I do in moonology, probably in some indirect way, I was inspired by her anyway, because she was always on her show that she did for however many years, the one where everyone kept winning cars. You know, she was always talking about manifesting and all that kind of stuff. So, and I know she almost certainly still does. So yeah, so maybe I'll continue that. I don't know. But I just wanted to give you that kind of a little bit of information about manifesting and how it works. And it was a kind of interesting little story because I had this thing of thinking I never came to anything, which is really unusual. And then 2 days later, I'm on her website. So there you go. There you go. So I think the takeaways from this are, when you are manifesting, do a drawing or use Photoshop or, you know, some online photo editor, and just so you can do something that you can visualize, you know, like just say you want to have a baby. What I've done a couple of times is I've done a drawing of a picture of my friend who wants to have a baby and her partner, you know, imagining him there, because in all cases they've been heterosexual couples, and her holding a baby. So I just do that drawing. And so what it is when you do that drawing, you start for it to become real. You know, as soon as it becomes an idea, it starts to become real, and it's something that the person can believe in. Another one I did, I'm just remembering, was I did it for a girlfriend of mine who runs a very, very big beauty company. I don't think she'll mind me telling this story, called Lanolips. Have you heard of Lanolips? It's a really fantastic Australian brand. And her name's Kirsten. She's total inspiration, total babe, gorgeous woman. I know her because her son and my son have been friends forever. And anyway, Kirsten was saying about how with her Australian brand of, they do lip glosses, mainly they do lip glosses, but I think they do oils, and she does things like 101 ointment. You can get them in England at Boots and Waitrose, really good product, Lanolips. And she was coming over here because she had a chance to, because she lives in Sydney, because she was having an interview with, I can't remember who it was now, it might have been some big company. Let's just say it was, I think it might have been, I don't even want to say actually, I think it's private. So let's say it was Boots, because it wasn't Boots. She was already in Boots. But just say it was Boots. And she was like, I'm coming over and I'm going to have a chance to get on this, you know. And so what I did for her was I went to, say, Boots, and I did a picture. I got a screen grab of a product on the Boots website. It's Lanolips, Lanolips. People are asking what it is. It's she uses lanolin from the wool of sheep. Her grandparents were sheep. I think it was her grandparents were sheep farmers, or maybe her parents are sheep farmers, and her grandpa was also like, one of them was a scientist. So she basically combined the scientist part of her family heritage with the farming part of her family heritage, and made this product. And, you know, I would use that product on me, on my kid, on my husband without any fear. It's clean, there's no parabens, Lanolips. Anyway, so what I did was I got a picture, a screen product of Boots, say, because Boots, obviously, if you are a maker of any beauty products in the UK, you want to have your product in Boots because it's the biggest chemist in the UK. It's like, it's all across England. You can go to Boots the chemist. They're all, it's like a chain. And so I took off whatever product it was, and I got a product shot of hers from her website, and I put it on there, and I made it look exactly like her product was in Boots or wherever. And I sent it to her, and she was like, oh, thank you so much, it's so cool. And I said, just look at it, just print it out and have it where you can see it, because then in your head, you start to believe that Lanolips is in Boots. My product is in Boots. My product is on sale online in Boots. And, you know, the thing is, because I'm always talking about manifesting, and we do our manifesting at new moon, okay? But I want you to really understand the new moon is the really strong time to start it, but we are all manifesting 24/7. So things like that actually start to help us to shape shift. Because what it's like in the movies, what do we think of when we're manifesting something? We think abracadabra, and suddenly bang, it's all done. But it's not really like that. It's about, you know, in Hollywood, when we talk about like shapeshifters, it's like shape shifting. It's like moving towards new stuff and shaping and changing your reality. That's what I believe is going on. Okay, so having a picture of her product, which of course, by the way, did end up in Boots or wherever it was that we were manifesting. I know where it was. It was she was already in Boots. It was even probably just somewhere else she wanted to be in, and it worked out, and she's in there. And, you know, and seeing a picture, it's like, you know what they say, it's not if I believe it, I will see it. It's not if I see it, I'll believe it, because that's what they used to say, oh, I'll believe it when I see it. No, you'll actually see it when you believe it. So doing something like that helps you. And just one more quick example. When I wrote my first novel, Carole King is an Alien, you know, it's hard to get published. It's hard to get your first deal. You know, I'm not going to kid anyone. And it was as hard for me as it is for anyone else. And so what I did when I was writing my novel, this was in about the year 2000, when I was already into manifesting, I was living in Sydney, and I would go and I would hang outside bookshops like Berkelow's, which is on Oxford Street in Sydney, or was. I hope it's still there. Who knows? I haven't been able to go to Australia for a long time now. Or, various bookshops. And I would literally, at night, because when the shops were shut, because I didn't want to be arrested, I would sit outside the bookshops and I would literally stare in, and I would imagine my book on their shelf. Okay, I'd imagine it. Excuse me. I also drew a cover. I've told you this before. I've told you this one before. I drew a cover from a sheet of A4 paper. I do this for all my books, okay? I drew a sheet of, I got a sheet of A4, wrapped it around the book like that, folded it properly, okay? So that's just now it's a book wrapped in a sheet of A4, okay? But properly, okay, because this is not proper. I need to, and I then draw, the book was called Carole King is an Alien. So I drew Carole King is an alien, and I drew a picture here, which was slightly derivative of the cover of Carole King's seminal album Tapestry, if you know that. And what I actually drew was I drew a pair of a girl's knees as if she was sitting sort of with her legs crossed high, by Yasmin Boland. And I kept that while I was writing the book. And if you happen to have a copy of my book, you can't get it anymore, I don't think. But basically, I was blown away when the book finally came out, because they didn't really give me any cover options because I was a first-time author. They just did it all themselves, which is fair enough. And I was sort of presented with this finished product of a book. And I swear to God, on my honour, my drawing that I had done, which had these sort of knees, that was like the predominant thing. I can't remember exactly. I've got it somewhere. And the book itself, they were like really, really along the same lines, or almost the same. Okay? So, I hope you've got the message. All right, so I'm going to end. I just wanted to share that. And you might think, well, it's not really astrology, but it kind of is astrology for me, because I work with manifesting and the moon. And I'm talking about manifesting. I'm not talking about the moon. The moon's in Cancer, actually on my Sun Mercury midpoint. So there we are. I'm talking about something I really care about. Oh, thank you, Debbie. I'm glad you say it was a good lesson. I just really wanted to talk about it because to me, the Oprah.com thing was so much of a clear thing of doing the manifestation, forgetting about it, remembering it, thinking, oh, that's weird, because normally something will happen, and then bang, my cards are on Oprah.com. Ah, wow. So yeah, so maybe I need to keep manifesting there. I'll see. I've got lots of things to manifest right now. All right, so I'm just, half of these are upside down because they fell over, so I'm just gonna make sure they're all the right way round. All right, so who would like a card? Who needs a card? Oh, thank you, Irene. I'm glad. Irene loved my story. Thanks, Kimmy. Who wants a card? I'm going to do a card for everybody. Oh, and the other thing is, I should mention, talking of manifesting, I am running my Moonology Manifesting Challenge very, very soon, which is very convenient because I wanted to tell you this story. We've already had, I think, thousands of people have signed up for it. It's going to come up on March the 7th. And if you want to sign up for it, I've put a link above or below or to the side, depending on where you're watching. It's free. It's the Moonology, 7-day Moonology Manifesting Challenge. And I'm going to be teaching stuff like this, but we're actually going to be doing it. As opposed to me just talking about my own experiences. You're going to start to do some of your stuff as well. And we'll also be doing a lot of stuff about working through self-doubt, because we're going to be starting at the third quarter moon, which is the time to let stuff go. So if you haven't signed up yet, and if you have signed up and you've applied to get into the Facebook page, we're going to open that up, you know, in the next couple of days. We just wanted to make sure that, there's stuff in there. Okay, so that's the Moonology Manifesting Challenge. It's free, and it's above, below, to the side, the link to join, and it's starting on March the 7th. All right, okie dokie. I have a card here. Ah, interesting. Such an appropriate card. And actually, something that we will be doing in the Moonology Manifesting Challenge. All right, are you ready? Do you want to be a better manifester? Say out loud, yes, if you want to be a better manifester. Alexa, stop. It's Alexa reminding me. Do you want to be a better manifester? Do you want to be a better manifester? Do you want to know what you have to do to be a better manifester? All right, here we go. The number one thing you need to do in order to be a better manifester is boom. Work through your fears. Work through your fears. What's holding you back? And I know a fear I have to work through in order to end up on Oprah. What do you think? Are you going to have the courage to work through your fears? Let's do it. Let's do this, kids. All right, well, on that note, I will see you back here tomorrow. And I hope you have a really beautiful day. And thanks for listening. Mwah, mwah, mwah. And sign up for the Moonology Manifesting Challenge. It's free.